I want to talk about Terrence Crawford, possible next opponent. If Terrence Crawford cannot get Earl Spence in the ring, the boogeyman, the so-called boogeyman, if he can't get him in the ring, or if he cannot get Pacquiao in the ring, I want to see Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter. Um, Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford in the beginning, when this fight was talked about, they both were saying that they were friends and they don't want to. They haven't had sat down and had time to or discuss fighting each other. But I think they should. I think they should go ahead and fight, especially if Terrence Crawford can get any of the other champions in the ring. Shawn Porter. It seemed like everybody wants to see Terrence Crawford fight Shawn Porter. There's a lot of people that believe Shawn Porter can beat Terrence Crawford, or they don't believe Terrence Crawford can beat Shawn Porter. I mean, a lot of opinions have been changed on Shawn Porter over the years. I know because I've been here for a while um, discussing Shawn Porter. I know people used to say Shawn Porter is not all that. He's wild. He doesn't do this right. He doesn't do this right. Um, he throws wide punches. He smothers his work, and that used to be true for me with Shawn Porter. All along. Now Shawn Porter has improved in some areas. He has remained the same in some areas, but he has improved as a fighter. But it's amazing how before he fought Earl Spence, he wasn't that good. And then when he fought Earl Spence, people say, well, he Earl Spence fought the best Shawn Porter. So I don't know if they just saying that because he took Earl Spence through life and death. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I had Shawn Porter edging the fight out. I don't know if it's that, because people were saying that that Earl Spence was gonna stop Shawn Porter. Now they keep that. They say that they've been saying that for a while. You know what I'm saying? Earl Spence is gonna stop Mikey Garcia. Earl Spence is gonna stop Shawn Porter. Earl Spence is gonna stop Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? It's they every time Earl Spence fights somebody, that's what they say. Earl Spence is going to stop that guy. He's going to walk over that guy. He's going to walk over this guy. He's going to beat this guy. Stop him brutally and all this. And Shawn Porter, to me, actually outfought Earl Spence in that fight. Now Earl Spence did manage to put him down, but see, this is my problem with Earl Spence, and this is why I believe when him and Terrence Crawford fight, Terrence Crawford is going to stop this guy. Now, Earl Spence has uh, Earl. Let me start off by saying this: Earl Spence is a really good fighter. Earl Spence has some strengths in the ring that helps him a lot. You know what I'm saying? When he's fighting certain fighters. Now, Earl Spence's greatest strengths are he's a strong fighter. He fights aggressively. He's in condition. He doesn't seem to get tired in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And he likes to go to the body. He's very committed to going to the body. Even though in the Danny Garcia fight, for some odd reason, he didn't really get to Danny's body as much as he do, or as much as he did against other fighters, previous fighters. But nevertheless, he has a strong body attack. My problem with seeing that fight with Danny Garcia and Earl Spence is Danny Garcia was able to hit Earl Spence with body shots continuously from the outside, and Danny was turning Earl Spence just like much how Shawn Porter was, and it was seeming like Earl Spence was having trouble transitioning defense to offense like that, like snap, like kind of like snapping your fingers. You know how you get how it's like a rhythm and it's smooth and it's on key. It's like he has to have a slight pause, not a long pause, but in boxing, even the slightest pause, you either get caught with a punch or you miss your opportunity to counter someone. And Earl Earl Spence, to me, he doesn't transition, you know, like flowing water. He doesn't transition. And when he's fighting someone like Terrence Crawford, who can, this is what I found out about Terrence Crawford. What a lot of people have to understand about Terrence Crawford. Yes, he can box. Yes, he can counterpunch. Terrence Crawford can do it all. He can transition from offense to defense. He can punch with you. Terrence Crawford is a hunter by nature. He wants to hunt you down. He wants to stop you. That's what Terrence Crawford wants to do. That's his nature. It's just all his other gifts make him the fighter that he is. Being able to make an adjustment on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Kell Brook was hitting him with the jab. What'd he do? Make an adjustment. Took Kell Brook jab away from him. And as soon as he took Kell Brook jab, because I picked him to stop Kell Brook in like 8 rounds, 6, 7, 8 rounds. As soon as he took Kell Brook jab away from him, I knew it was the beginning of the end. I knew eventually that the stoppage was coming, and it was coming rapidly, even faster than the 7 rounds, because I was looking at the fight and I seen the look on Brook's face when he could no longer hit Terrence Crawford with that jab. Because, Brook wants to hit you with that jab, then he want to come with that 1-2 straight down the middle. You know what I'm saying? So that's Brooks. That was part of that. That jab is like 50% of Brooks' game. And once Terrence Crawford took that away, I knew the beginning of the end was near. And you know, people would like to say now people have a revisionist history on the Carol Brook fight. Now it was the reason why he knocked Carol Brook out that quick is because Carol Brook had two bad eyes. And I was discussing this on Zone's panel earlier, that no, that's not the reason why he stopped Carol Brook early. He walked Carol Brook into that punch. See, that's the difference between Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. Earl Spence, he fights on instinct and he just comes forward, throws punches, want to wear you down, want to try to walk through you. He doesn't. I don't see Earl Spence setting anything up. I don't see Earl Spence setting up traps. Terrence Crawford set that trap for Kell Brook. He read Kell Brook, and the reason why I know he read Kell Brook is he seen that Kell Brook was hitting him with a jab, so he said, "Let me turn southpaw." Took away Kell Brook's jab, so he isolated Kell Brook's jab. So he like, okay, the jab was giving me problems. The jab was blinding me, was throwing me off my rhythm. Let me get back to my rhythm. Let me take away his jab, and now let me finish reading him. So he threw that punch just as Kell Brook was coming in because he had read Kell Brook previous couple rounds before, and he seen how Kell Brook was moving and how he was moving on that side. So when Kell Brook jumped in, he met him with like a baby jab type hook. It was like a baby jab type hook. And that had nothing to do with Kell Brook's eye. Kell Brook did not know what hit him. When he went to the rope, stumbled to the ropes, the reason why he stumbled to the ropes, first of all, he jumped in. So when Terrence Crawford hit him with the punch, it knocked him off balance because of him jumping in and the impact of him jumping in and Terrence Crawford hitting him with that punch, it knocked him off balance. I know a lot of people say, well, he turned his back because he no longer wanted to fight. That wasn't the case. He was in Never Never Land. Not to the point to where he was blacked out. His head got foggy getting hit by that punch. And you could see in his face, like, when the referee was counting, he could see in his face, like, what happened? He was looking at the referee like, why are you counting? Because he didn't realize that he got countered so swiftly and so smoothly that he didn't even know what hit him. Even after the fight, he said I never experienced that. Nobody never even did that to me, not even in the gym. That has nothing to do with his two eyes. That has something to do with Terrence Crawford setting something up. It's called a boxing move. That's what he was doing. He was doing a boxing move. He set him up, boom, half hook, half jab, got Kell Brook in trouble. And once Terrence Crawford gets you in trouble like that, that's the fight is over. And he stopped Kell Brook quicker than Triple G stopped him, which was a full-fledged middleweight. He stopped him quicker than Earl Spence did. And everybody keeps saying how small Terrence Crawford is. Oh, he's too small to do this. He's too small to do that. He's too small to handle Jeff Horn. He's too small for Kell Brook. Kell Brook is the strongest welterweight in the welterweight division. That's what Errol Spence said. Errol Spence said he thinks that Kell Brook is the strongest, biggest guy in the welterweight division. I tend to agree with him because when he fought Shawn Porter, he nullified all Shawn Porter bull rushes. Like he nullified every one of them. Every time Shawn Porter tried to do something as far as a physical tactic towards Kell Brook, he stopped it in his tracks. And Shawn Porter is a big dude. He's not tall, but he's big. He's wide. He's strong. He's thick. You know what I'm saying? Shawn Porter, we know Shawn Porter's a tough guy. So I want to see Terrence Crawford fight Shawn Porter. And I just want everyone that's saying that Shawn Porter has improved, that Shawn Porter is this, that Shawn Porter is that. I want all of that to stay on the table because I know how this game works. If Terrence Crawford go in there and dominate Shawn Porter, what are people gonna say? Oh, he had a tough fight with Earl Spence. That's why Terrence Crawford was able to stop him. No, I want to hear that Shawn Porter has improved. He's a better fighter than when he fought Kell Brook and Keith Thurman. That's what people are telling me. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that Shawn Porter will beat Terrence Crawford because he's too small. People still using the. I'm just wondering when people are going to stop saying this man is too small. The man is not too small for 147. You don't have to be muscular. You don't have to be overly physically imposing. You just got to know how to. You got to know how to fight, man. You got to know how to handle yourself in the ring. You got to know how to dish it out, and you got to know how to take it. Yes, Terrence Crawford has been hurt, but he has taken it and came back and stopped people who hurt him. Gamboa hurt him. Yes, Gamboa did hurt him. What did he do to Gamboa? Stopped him. Cole Velasquez did hurt him. What did he do to Cole Velasquez? Stopped him. You know what I'm saying? This is boxing. You gonna get hurt. People gonna get hurt. People are gonna face adversity in the ring. Hey, to me it's better to face as much as adversity as you is going to face and still win and have that experience under your belt that you know if some things is not going right for you in the fight that you can overcome. Just like when Earl Spence was fighting Kell Brook. Kell Brook was winning that fight. He had to overcome some adversity, right? He was able to stop Kell Brook. Adversity is good. Adversity helps you. It gets you stronger. It helps you down the line. You know what I'm saying? So when things come up and because the fight is not going to always go your way. And people say, well, the reason why he had to turn southpaw because Kell Brook was beating him orthodox. Okay, what's wrong with that? Okay, let's just say Terrence Crawford was not the fighter that he is, and he was not able to make an adjustment, and he just kept losing the fight. You know what I'm saying? Orthodox. The reason why it's called making adjustments is if something ain't working, you can go to something else. There's no shame in going to something else to make yourself successful. I don't know the shame in that. Kell Brook was having a lot of success with his jab. So what did Terrence Crawford say? Okay, let me take away his jab. When Kell Brook was fighting Earl Spence, I didn't see Earl Spence make an adjustment in that fight. All he did was he just kept fighting the way he fought the way he always fights, and that's coming forward, uh, trying to run you over, and eventually he wore Kell Brook down and broke his orbital bone and was able to stop Kell Brook. He didn't make no adjustments. He kept getting hit by the same punches he was getting hit with Kell Brook throughout the fight. It's the same thing with that Danny Garcia fight. Danny Garcia kept hitting Earl Spence with a sweeping right hand. You know what a sweeping right hand is? It's kind of like a loop that Earl Spence should have seen and should have blocked a lot. I understand you getting hit one or two times with the sweeping right hand, but he was getting hit and getting caught moving, trying to move out the pocket with a sweeping right hand like over and over again. He kept getting hit to the body over and over again by Danny Garcia, who's a lot slower foot and hand speed wise than Terrence Crawford. A lot slower. Now Danny Garcia has pretty good timing, but he's not as fast footed or hand speed as Terrence Crawford. And he's not as long as Terrence Crawford. That's another thing where people keep on saying Terrence Crawford is so small. The man has a 72-inch reach. He's five, but he has like the same dimensions that Floyd Mayweather has. When people, say Floyd Mayweather is small, it's not really being small. It's how longer your arms are compared to your opponent, or how long if your arm, like I believe Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford arm reach is about the same. So now Earl Spence will be in the ring with someone with arms are just as long as his. They both will. So you mean to tell me that when Terrence Crawford can't take away Earl Spence's jab, he will be able to take away Earl Spence's jab as well. If he turns southpaw, and usually if he turns southpaw, they jab's gonna be right there. If he stays orthodox, if he turns southpaw, boom. Now what? Now what do we do? Earl Spence has a decent jab. He still pushes with his jab. You know how I know he pushes with his jab? I'm not the only one that says he pushes with his jab. Derek James in the corner kept telling Earl Spence, stop pushing with your jab. His trainer said, stop pushing your jab. Bring it back. That's a flaw that's not going anywhere. That's something that Earl Spence has been doing for a while. Leaving his jab out there. You know what happens when you leave your jab out there? You get countered with power shots. You get countered with a right hand straight down the middle if Terrence Crawford stays orthodox. And what's the punch that a southpaw the southpaw killer? A right hand straight down the middle. And if he leaving his jab out like that versus Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia is countering him, having some success countering him, what do you think Terrence Crawford is going to do? Longer arms, faster. Hmm. Hmm. So I don't get all up into somebody is a monster because I don't believe in monsters in boxing because they usually get handled, all of them, from Mike Tyson to Deontay Wilder and everybody in between, George Foreman, everybody that's presumably supposed to be a monster, they always get handled, and it's usually by knockout. Tyson, Buster Douglas, knockout. Ali Foreman, knockout. Wilder, Tyson Fury, knockout. That's usually what happens to the so-called boogeyman of the division, and that's what Earl Spence calls himself. He says he's the boogeyman of the division. He's the boogeyman of the division, but Terrence Crawford is hunting you down, wanting to fight you, Mr. Boogeyman. But like I said, man, yes, you have to give it to Earl Spence. He is the man at 47. He has two titles, so he's the man at 47. Like Zone said early on his platform. You know what I'm saying? You have to give a man respect because he's unified. Because we went through this with Keith Thurman. When Keith Thurman was unified, we were saying Keith Thurman was the best. A lot of people didn't agree with us that Keith Thurman was the best when he was unified. People were saying Earl Spence was the best, even though Earl Spence only had one title. I distinctly remember that. Look, I don't lose the receipts. I remember when people were saying, no, Earl Spence is the best, even though Keith Thurman was unified. But listen, I'm gonna stay consistent. I'll let everybody else deal with their inconsistencies. Y'all can be inconsistent. The man is the man at 47 because I want Earl Spence to have all his props. So when Terrence Crawford going in and stop him, because that's what's going. He's going to stop him because his style lends to Terrence Crawford getting a stoppage. He's overly aggressive at times, but he has to be overly aggressive because Earl Spence has to make up for a lot of other stuff that he doesn't do well. So he has to be overly aggressive. And when you overly aggressive versus Terrence Crawford, is people think Terrence Crawford is going to fold up because Earl Spence is being aggressive. Like this man is going to fold up and retreat because Earl Spence is being too aggressive. No, I keep on telling y'all, by nature, Terrence Crawford is a hunter himself. He likes to hunt too. That by nature, Terrence Crawford loves to fight, and he's a great counter puncher. You think Danny Garcia is a great counter puncher? Terrence Crawford is a counter puncher with power. The man can punch. He's showing it at 147 that his power came up from 140, 130, 135. That his power has come. Some people power it travels up with them. It seems like this man power has traveled up with him, along with his other skills, because he stopped everybody at 47. He has stopped everybody at 47 since he's been at 47. I believe Terrence Crawford got 7 straight stoppages. Not all of them at 47. I believe he got 4 stoppages at 47. And I know it's Benavidez, American, Hale Brook, Cole Velasquez, and your boy Jeff Horn. So he has stopped everybody at 47, from a hook to a body shot to straight right hand to an uppercut. It's not that Terrence Crawford has a punch that he usually stops guys with, that's his power punch like a right hand or a hook. No, this man has power. It's very rare to see a person have power with different punch selections. Not just a guy that has power in his right hand, or a guy that has power in his left hand when he throws a hook, or he throws a right hand, or he throws a left hook or a right hook, or a right hand, left hook, or straight left. This man has an uppercut with power. He knocked down Benavidez with an uppercut, and that was in the 12th round. Like so, that was after he had all that punch output, moving around. You know what I'm saying? Moving around on his feet, taking punches, giving punches, and he still was able to have power in his uppercut to knock that man down in the 12th round. So he not only has power, he has power in selective punch output, punch selection. But let me get out of here, man. I'm out. I'll see y'all later, man.